Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is February 27th. Max Scherzer re-signs with the Blue Jays. Chris Sale extended. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, folks? This is the ultimate, final, no more. This is the last episode of the off season. Can officially confirm the news has wind down. There really isn't much else to talk about. So today is the last one. We've got a couple things on the agenda, but should be a shorter episode all in all. So with that being said, we're going to talk about the things today and then take a look at the future here as we enter March. But for now, Max Scherzer headlines the news from the week. He is staying in Toronto. He signs a 1-year, $3 million deal. This deal includes pitching incentives. And yeah, I got to be honest, I think Blue Jays are in good position. I'm going to say this a lot going through into the season. I mean, the AL East is going to be a bloodbath. But a situation the Blue Jays found themselves in starting last year was, Barrios, Gosman, Bassett. How else do you fill up this rotation? This year, I mean, they've got Gosman, they have Cease, they have Barrios, they have Savage, they have Cody Ponce. They have Shane Bieber, who's going to be on the IL to start the season. Now you have Max Scherzer, who, you've got a plethora of pitching options, including also Eric Lauer, who, could make some starts, could be out of the bullpen. The Blue Jays do not have any starting pitching problems to start this year. I will tell you that much for sure. They have the depth there. And again, Scherzer is a future Hall of Famer, 3-time Cy Young, 8-time All-Star, including 2 World Series champions. Of course, his best years, those years with Washington, his ending years in Detroit. Started, of course, in Arizona before going to Detroit, where he then went to Washington, to LA, to the Dodgers, then the Mets, then Texas, and now the last year. In his age 40 season with the Blue Jays, he played in 17 games, pitched in 17 games. He was 5-5, a 5.19 ERA, so nothing crazy, but I gotta be honest, when I went to his games, I did go to a couple of his starts, he looked a lot better than I think the numbers would suggest. 85 innings, giving up 49 earned runs with 82 strikeouts. He is still a Hall of Fame pitcher. He still has that stuff, even though he's going to be at the age of 41. His career numbers are just absolutely crazy. And again, Max Scherzer doesn't need to be Cy Young 2.2 ERA Max Scherzer. Even if he can drop his ERA a little bit, makes about 17 starts, that's still pretty good for a guy who's going to be 41. And by the way, in case you guys forgot, for Game 7 of the World Series, he started that game. That is something to note about, something to care about when you really think about it, that he made three starts in the postseason, and in those 3 starts, he pitched 14 innings, to a 3.7 ERA. He gave up 12 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 home runs, 11 strikeouts in 14 innings. I mean, that's really great for a guy who's 40. He's pitched in the playoffs before. This is nothing new to him. He's pitched in the playoffs 4 straight years with Detroit. He had 2 years with Washington, followed by another year with Washington where they won the World Series. Then he pitched with the Dodgers in 21, the Mets in 22, and Texas in 23, where he won his second World Series. So those are his rings in 2019 and 2023. Came so close to a third one with the Blue Jays last year. But again, a guy who's going to start Game 7 of the World Series can get you, an ERA of 3 in the postseason. I mean, it's just solid stuff, and I think that Max Scherzer can bounce back from that 5.19 ERA that he had last year. Again, only 85 innings, which you'll probably see again from him this year. You don't need anything crazy when you have so many options at the helm in the rotation, guys like Cease and Ponce and Gosman and Savage, etc. Scherzer just needs to do a little bit here and there, and I'm sure that's what he's going to do. He's not going to be ready for opening day. They're probably going to take his time with it. gear him up here in the spring. Of course, he's going to start the spring late. And again, 41 years old. You don't need him to be ready for opening day. You can kind of ease him into the season, maybe see him end of April and going on from there. The pitching incentives that he does have in the contract. So I did say it's a 3-year deal for the 1 year, but he's going to get an extra million when he pitches 65 innings this year. And he's going to get an extra million every 10 innings that he pitches. So he'll get this $3 million deal turns into a $4 million deal when he pitches 65 innings. If he gets to 75 innings, it'll be a $5 million deal. If he gets to 85, it'll be $6 million, and so forth, all the way up to 155 innings. If the Blue Jays need Max Scherzer to pitch 155 innings, that would then cost them the full $10 million of incentives that he has, which means this 1 year, $3 million deal turns into a 1 year, $13 million deal. Again, if you go off of last year where he pitched 85 innings, if you put that into this year's contract format, he gets the $3 million just from signing the deal. He'd get an extra mil at 65, an extra mil at 75, and then the mil at 85. It'd be $6 million that he makes this year if he can get to the 85 mark. And again, it's only 10. It's every 10 innings, starting at 65, going up to a max of 155. So it's up to $13 million. That's the total there for Max Scherzer. The future Hall of Famer going for his second year with the Blue Jays. And if you didn't see, the cutest thing about all of this was that his daughter actually wrote a note to the Blue Jays saying how happy she was to, be a part of that postseason run and how happy it was for her dad, and that she really hoped that he would sign with the Blue Jays again. And sure enough, he did. So very adorable. That note's been going around social media. It's hard to read, obviously. She's young, but it's very sweet, very adorable, very cute. So we love that for her and the Scherzer family, and Blue Jays fans, I'm sure, are happy to have the future Hall of Famer back in blue as well. Speaking of veteran pitchers, though, we do have another veteran pitcher to talk about, Chris Sale. He is extended by the Braves. It's a 1-year deal for $27 million with a club option for 2028. If you are unaware, Chris Sale, of course, when he got traded from the Red Sox to the Braves, the Boston had to retain some of the salary there, yada, yada. But the contract did have a club option for $18 million for this year, which the Braves did extend. So the Braves were going to have Chris Sale this year regardless for $18 million. But they then gave him a $27 million extension for next year. So he's guaranteed to be with the Braves in 2027. And then in 2028, there's a $30 million club option if the Braves want to pick him up. He would be 39 years old that year if they choose to do so. I haven't seen anything else about, bonuses for Cy Youngs or MVPs or whatever. I'm not sure if there is any of that stuff, or if there is a buyout if they don't take the club option. Sometimes we see that. If there is a buyout, I would expect it to be about $3 million. That way, that totals them up to basically a 1-year, $30 million deal or a 2-year, $60 million deal. But for now, as it shows on his contract, it is 1 year, $27 million next year. And then if the club option is picked up, there's an extra $30 million. And if you're unaware of who Chris Sale is and why he is so damn good, he's also potentially future Hall of Famer. He's got a Cy Young to his name. He's got a Triple Crown to his name as well. He's a 9-time All-Star with a Gold Glove and was part of the Boston Red Sox 2028 World Series year. That year, of course, his All-Stars came from 2012 all the way to 2018. His second year with Boston, he had a 2.11 ERA that year. You take a look at those, 5-year, 6-year contract there with the White Sox and Boston. From 2012 to 2018, he was 99 and 59. He pitched in 208 games to a 2.91 ERA. This is prime Chris Sale we're talking about here. You got All-Stars every single year. You've got top 5 in Cy Young almost every single year. There's only one year he finished outside the top 5, which was 6th. But like that's a crazy like span right there. In 2012, he finishes 6th in Cy Young. 2013, he finishes 5th. 2014, he finishes 3rd. Then in 15, he finishes 4th. 16 finishes 5th. 17 finishes 2nd. And 18 finishes 4th. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. After that, he started to deal with injury. He turned 30 years old, had a tough year with the Red Sox in 2019, only pitched in 25 games. Then 2020 did not pitch at all with an injury. In 2021, he only made 9 starts with the Red Sox, dealing with injuries. 2022, same thing, except he only had 2 starts. He only pitched 5 innings for Boston in 2022. In 2023, we had the bounce back year of Chris Sale, if you would. He was healthy enough to pitch in 20 games, got just over 100 innings of work, but it was a 4.3 ERA. Boston wasn't really looking for the next 2 years to be stuck with their contract, so they trade him to Atlanta, where he says, watch this, and turns back the clock. 2024, at the age of 35, his first year with the Braves, a 6.2 WAR. He went 18-3. He had a 2.38 ERA, led the league in ERA, got his next All-Star appearance, his first one since 2018, and he finally won the Cy Young. He also won the Gold Glove that year, the best year of Sale's career, you could argue, and then followed it up last year with another All-Star campaign. So after 2018, after that 7-year span, I should say, 7 straight All-Stars from 2012 to 2018, he had 5 years of injuries and just struggles, and the last 2 years with the Braves, he's been phenomenal. 25-8 across 50 games with the Braves, a 2.46 ERA, just over 300 innings pitched, 10.2 WAR. Sensational stuff. He's been great, and if he has another great year this year, I mean, that's why he gets the extension, right? So Chris Sale, he's extended. He's going to be with the Braves, continue to be with the Braves for 2027, of course, if there is a season. But regardless, that is the news on Sale and the Braves. We got a couple of minor league deals to talk about here really quickly, including Michael Conforto signing with the Cubs on a minor league deal, Randall Grichuk signing a minor league deal with the Yankees, and Rhys Hoskins signing a minor league deal with the Guardians. I think this is the most interesting one out of the 3 here. Hoskins, of course, last year with the Brewers, 90 games. He hit 12 home runs, a 237 batting average, a 748 OPS. I still think Hoskins is a good player. He can put up good numbers. Of course, he's dealt with injuries the past couple years, hasn't had consistent playing time. I think if he can stay healthy and maybe get some consistent playing time, he can be a real threat for the Guardians. I think that, they have Kyle Manzardo there, obviously as like a first base DH platoon kind of guy. I know, if you want to stick one and not the other, if you do platoon them, because you got Manzardo, who's a power left-handing bat. Hoskins is a right-handed power bat. So you've got the options there. I would expect Hoskins to be some sort of part in the Guardians, team this year. I think he'll make the team. Of course, it's not guaranteed, but I think Hoskins at the age of 32, you look at his numbers career-wise, he's still a really good player. He's got almost 200 home runs. That's something that we could see him hit this year. He's 14 home runs away. He can easily hit 14 home runs this season with the Guardians. So I'd expect Hoskins to get some real playing time with the Guardians here. But of course, these 3 are all minor league deals. Continuing on here, we do get some injury reports continuing to come out of the spring. The main ones here being that Pablo Lopez, I'm not sure if I talked about this in the last episode or not. He's been placed on the 60-day IL. He is going to miss all of the 2026 season with a Tommy John surgery or something similar. I'm not exactly sure if it is Tommy John or not, but it is to replace something with his elbow. He's going to be done this year. So the Twins, you could say, are already losing their best player. It's going to be a really tough year for Minnesota. Buxton, Yeah, he's always been a star-ish player, but he's never able to stay healthy. And of course, the Twins kind of traded everyone away last season anyway. So I mean, it's gonna be a really interesting year. I mean, Joe Ryan then just automatically becomes the ace of that staff, and he's had some minor setbacks in spring training. Of course, I think his first start, he was scratched like 10, 15 minutes beforehand. So that's something to definitely monitor here for Minnesota because if they lose Lopez and Ryan at the start of the season, I mean, yikes for Minnesota. The other injury here, Merrill Kelly was announced that he's going to miss opening day for the D-backs with a intercostal nerve irritation is what he's dealing with. Not sure when he will be healthy, ready to go. That is just what we are being told by the medium. It's like back tightness, essentially. He's listed as questionable for opening day, but I'm pretty sure he was announced that he will miss opening day, which means that when I said it in the last episode with Zach Gallen coming back, who's the ace of that staff, I would still say it's Zach Gallen. I think Arizona should start Zach Gallen on opening day. I don't think Eduardo Rodriguez or Ryan Nelson or Brandon Pfaadt deserve the nod over Zach Gallen. He's your guy. I say you stick with your guy. Zach Gallen should be the opening day starter for the Diamondbacks, but of course that needs to be announced when we get into the month of March. Speaking of the month of March here, let's talk a little bit about spring training thus far. Of course, we've had now about a week of spring training games going on. And I gotta say, it's been nice having baseball again. I don't know how anybody else feels about that. We've seen a lot of different things. We've got players hitting bombs. Pete Alonso's hit 2 home runs with Baltimore already. Paul Goldschmidt with the Yankees, he's hit a couple of home runs. Spencer Jones, I'm not sure if you've seen this kid for the Yankees. He's hit some absolute taters of some home runs there. Kazumo Okamoto from the Blue Jays has been very impressive. Jack Caglione has hit a home run or two. He's been very impressive thus far in spring here. If we take a look, just going through some of the stats here. Ernie Clement, he's been pretty, hitting the ball all over the place. Ellie De La Cruz, he's had a couple of nice hits. He's got a triple, a home run already. So yeah, when you look at some of the stats, he's been pretty impressive. Ty Black from Milwaukee, he's got 8 hits. He's leading the way this spring so far. TJ Rumford from Colorado, he has 3 home runs. He leads the way there in terms of the home run numbers there. Yeah, Ellie De La Cruz has been a guy. There's been some notable names and guys, obviously, you look at throughout the spring here. I think for me, the biggest story comes from the ABS systems. I mean, it's been very fun to see the ABS system get used in spring training. I know we had it last spring training as well, but it's a little bit different because we knew it was just kind of a testing stage thing. Like, no one was really taking it that seriously. This year, you can tell it's a different atmosphere when you got players and people talking about the ABS system because it is coming to Major League Baseball this year, and I just have so many questions with how teams are going to use this because this is like a massive strategy piece that is being implemented into the game here. You get 2 challenges. How you choose to choose the challenges, who gets to challenge, like those are big things. So far, we've seen mostly catchers and some batters. I don't think I've seen any pitcher specifically call for one themselves. You have a lot of the pitchers trusting the catchers, knowing the strike zone. We've seen some umpires be really bad with it. There was one game, I think it was between the Red Sox and Pirates. In the first 3 innings, there was 5 ABS challenges, all that were wrong by the umpire, all which were overturned with the ABS system. So, I mean, and some of them weren't even close. Like, we've seen some borderline pitches. And again, that's what's been really fun, too. We've been seeing the ABS system get used, and we're getting like half an inch, not even, like 0.1 away from a strike zone, and it's being overturned. It's really going to screw some hitters over in the long run, I think. But again, it's like what teams want to use it. Are you going to let every player, when batting, have the option to use it? Are you going to save them for the end of the game and use them in big situations? Will you save one for the end and you maybe use one for the beginning? Are you going to be more aggressive with your first challenge, and then once you lose that, kind of hold on to that second one until you need it? Will you not use it at all? Will you use it only when you're pitching? Are you going to only use it when you're hitting? Like there's so many strategies that will come uh, into use here for the ABS system. I'm so excited to see how it actually gets used. I need some stats. I need to find some pages for stats for, who gets used the most. Like, I want to know who calls the most ABSs, who gets the most correct, both as hitters and by catchers. I think this is going to be a really good um, statistic for catchers. If you call the ABS system like 50 times, and you're right all 50 times, that's an important stat. That's an important thing to have for your career when you're going into like contract years and stuff. Like I think that's a really big thing for players to have. So I'm hoping MLB will implement some sort of like stat checking page on their website for this. I haven't seen it yet. But like I would love to see like, oh, who calls the ABS the most and who gets it the most correct? Like who gets the most overturned? Wilson Contreras as a hitter, he's overturned a couple of them already. Who gets to use it, who doesn't? Those are the big questions for me. I'm very excited to see it. Yeah, I'm excited to see it as a fan too, because like, on the TV, you may be taking 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds. So I want to see what that's like in the stadiums as well when you go to games, what that 10, 15 seconds, how it feels. How much will this increase the game time? Like if you have a really bad umpire, you could have a game where the ABS system gets used 30 times. You do the math there, that's an extra like 5 minutes that gets added into a game clock. So again, I think there's just millions of questions you can ask with the ABS system, and there's only so many answers that we have right now. The more spring training games we watch, the more answers we'll kind of have, and I'm sure we'll have more players talking about it. Some have already come out. Obviously, Sale was one of the guys saying he's never going to use it. If the catcher uses it, so be it, but he's never going to call for it. Let the umpires do their job. And like, yes, being an umpire is a hard job. It is hard to call balls and strikes. You got the balls coming in 100 plus miles an hour, in your direction. But there are just some calls that we're seeing. Like there are some borderline ones that, like, yeah, no one's gonna blame you for getting it wrong. It's more of those like right down the middle calls that you call ball, or pitches that are nowhere close to the plate that are called strike. That's where it's really gonna get used. We've seen some big misses from umpires here early in the spring. Again, it's spring training for them as well, though. So, like, no one's taking it too lightly. If you're saying, like, oh, this and that guy sucks and he shouldn't pitch. Like, the umpire who was calling the balls and strikes from the Pirates and Red Sox game, the guy who missed 5 calls in the first 3 innings, I'm not over here saying he needs to go or whatever. Like, I don't blame him. Like, again, it's a hard job. He is a minor league umpire. Like, we haven't seen him at a major league level yet. So, I mean, he's still young for an umpire, still makes the mistakes. But again, that is what the ABS system is going to do. That's what it's good for, is to help umpires get the right calls. Because the last thing you want is a big situation in a big game to be ruined by the wrong call. The ABS system allows you to do that. And again, if the wrong call gets made and you don't have your challenges, that's now on you. I'm not going to blame I will blame the umpire if it's a blatant strike that gets missed or a blatant ball that gets missed. But at the same time, too, we now have the system to challenge those wrong calls. And if you're using both your challenges in the first 3-4 innings, that now when you get to that 7th, 8th inning, you don't have your challenge, the umpire misses the borderline call, let's say, you don't have that challenge to overturn. That's where I'm saying the strategy will come into play here. That's what I'm very excited to see exactly how it gets used by which teams. I feel like some teams will be using it 5-10 times a game, and other teams will be using it like twice a week. Like, I'm very curious to see how it gets used, who it gets used by the most. I'm going to really enjoy the ABS system this year. It's going to be definitely something on my mind as the season progresses here. This is going to take it to the end of this episode here. Much shorter episode than we're used to, but again, it's the last off-season episode. There is not much else left to talk about here. Just to go over the schedule once more, though, because I did talk about it in the last episode in case you missed it. On Monday, March the 2nd, in a couple of days, we are starting our DOPs, our division outlooks and predictions. we are doing 2 episodes on the Monday. We have the AL East and the NL West. Both of those will be on Monday. On Tuesday, we will have another team, or another division, excuse me. Wednesday will be another one, and then Thursday will be the final 2 divisions. But yes, Monday will be the AL East and the NL West. Those are the first 2 that will happen. 2 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Wednesday, and then 2 on Thursday. That will wrap up all 6 DOPs next week. And then on Friday, we will start talking about the World Baseball Classic. We'll have about 4 or 5 episodes specifically for the WBC, as well as anything else that's happening throughout the spring training. But we'll be talking about the games, we'll be looking over teams, the end of group play, going into playoffs, as well as the final game there. And then, the start of the season will happen on the last week of March. Our predictions episode will happen on the 23rd of March, and then the first series of that year, of the year 2026, will be that week. First game, I think, is on the Wednesday between the Yankees and Giants, which will then take us to the 30th of March for the first series recap of 2026. So that is what this schedule looks at. Next week, we've got 7 episodes coming your way, 2 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, and then the World Baseball Classic starting up on Friday. That is a pretty hectic schedule for the middle of the order. You won't want to miss what I have to say about your favorite team and their outlook for the 2026 season. So get ready for those. That is how we end today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you all. Thank you, everybody, so much. And I will see you on Monday.